Tyler, you big hunk of a man. Welcome to the My Body Blend show, buddy. I'm pumped to have you here because, well, you're a dude and I love the stuff that you do. And I also love that what we're going to jump into in today's episode, because I feel like the vibes that you and I go off and the way that we help people, coach clients, and just go about day-to-day lives of being able to take care of ourselves, be in shape. And obviously you have such a unique way and you're leading from the front, which I think is one of the most important things as well. So firstly, Ombre, I want to just say thank you so much for taking the time out.
Thanks for having me. And I'm just trying to get as hunky as you. That's my name.
Well, let's bounce off each other and see what happens then. Okay, let's go. Firstly, let's do the nutshell question. Who is Tyler and why are you so phenomenal?
Who is Tyler? Ooh,
it's a deep question.
First of all, I'm a dad. And I think more than anything, I'm like a student of life. You know, you think you hit certain points in your life and you've got it all figured out. But now I'm at a point in my life where I figure out I have a few things figured out, but the things I want to figure out, I'm still learning. I'm still devising better ways, better plans, better ways to get along, health, nutrition-wise, life-wise. And I don't know that I'm phenomenal, but there's one point that I'd like to make, in that you need to decide what you really want to do with your life. And I've kind of had an alteration in my life goal and plan. Been in the medical field for over 12 years. And I had an early midlife crisis and decided, you know what? I love helping people, but I'm going to start helping people in another way. So I decided that I'd start this health wellness business. And here I am at the tail end of my medical career and going into my second career. And that's helping people live a healthier lifestyle and a better quality of life.
I love that. And I think one of the things that we're going to talk about today is changing the identity of who we are. And like, I get goosebumps thinking about it, because like, you have obviously, how many years in medical school did you spend?
Too many. Someone asked me that today. It was 8 years total. And, you know, people who say they want to go into the medical field, I'm kind of like that devil on the shoulder, you know, and there's great reasons for going into it. But if it's for the money, you're doing it for the wrong reason. And it's not this glitz and glamour job that everyone thinks it is. It's not like Grey's Anatomy. It can be it's depressing sometimes. And watching people go through health issues and it's difficult.
Yeah, totally. And I commend you for being able to be so strong in going through that. And especially being in the, like, you know, you operate on people, like you cut people open, you fix people up, you're dealing with sickness, and now you're changing and looking at the health aspect of everything. And especially there's a couple of case studies I want to talk about in this episode of how it is that you need to be able to change. And that's where I want to first jump into. You change your identity, which I think is a huge leap. Like, whenever I see someone do something like this, I'm always wrapped, because like, that was something that was a massive struggle for me to be able to go through. So for you to be able to spend, okay, I spent 8 years in medical school. You spent 10, 12 years?
Almost 12.
There we go. And now, do you know what I mean? Bigger, better, fantastic things are coming in your way. You changed your identity and you've used your mindset. And we were talking before we hit the record button about a client of yours and how he needs to start changing his identity, because you said something really important. So I just want you to unravel the story. Go into who this client is. Like, you don't obviously know names and specifics and stuff like that, but go into kind of like the nutshell of what's going on and how you tackle an issue of like, okay, you want to go from this person right now to this body. That's fantastic, but there's some deeper stuff we can look at as well.
Yeah, that's one of, you know, and by the way, I'm still creating my identity, you know, because it's one of those things that if you kind of fall out of practice and like envisioning what you want to become, it's like riding a bike. If you don't ride that bike, you kind of lose it. And anyway, so I have this client, just a fantastic guy. he got a little bit carried away. And I think it was the people around him, maybe his girlfriend, and he gained probably like 40 pounds. And he got this body scan where they scan his fat percentage, and and he starts realizing like, oh my God, I'm 40% body fat. So he came to me and he's like, man, I need help. I'm 42 and like almost half of my body is fat. And I'm like, okay, so let's start talking. What do you eat? He said, man, I follow the diet to the T. And I'm like, okay, talk to me about that. He's like, well, I start off with a banana and oatmeal. And I was like, oh, okay, stop. Stop. Right there. We're done. That's all I need to hear. I mean, you think you were doing the best diet for you, but that's not the best diet for you. Forget what you've learned over the past 10 years of your life. You forget what any medical association or program you've learned in the past. It's all wrong. And I'm like, we need to change that, but we also need to change the way it's wired upstairs. And he's like, this needs to happen quick. I'm like really unhealthy, and I'm worried about my heart, and my family has all this heart disease. And I'm like, okay, so we start today. Today we start. You are the man who is 220 pounds, taking your shirt off. You can envision the six-pack, your girlfriend's holding your hand, you've got the waves at your feet, and you feel better and more fulfilled in life than ever. And he's like, how did you do that? I'm like, we're going to do it together. So we did a few things together. He's making amazing progress. About 28 weeks later, 20 pounds down. I'm like, this is unbelievable. And he comes to me on Monday during our weekly check-in. He sends me this long email. Tyler, I only lost 1 pound this week. What am I doing wrong? I'm so perplexed. And I was like, hold on a second, rewind. And I didn't even reply to his email. I just called him. We got on a call, and I'm like, we need to work up here a little bit. Who are you again? He's like, man, I'm just so like, I don't know what's happening. I'm like, no, you are the man who's walking down the beach with his shirt off and comfortable in your skin and confident and throwing weights around and running after your dog. Like, that's who you are. He's like, oh yeah. And I'm like, first of all, don't send me these calculations of calories and weighing your food and what you burned. Like, that's going to hinder your progress. I'm like, we didn't do that the first 7 weeks, did we? He's like, no, I didn't do it until today when I weighed myself. And I'm like, okay, then you're done. You follow the plan, you stick to the plan. There's going to be days or weeks where you only lose maybe none. There's maybe weeks you lose 2 or 3 pounds, but you know what? It's what happens over the long haul. So we have to get back to working on the mentality, the identity. Who are you? What does your body look like? How do you feel? So I think it's a constant thing you have to work on with clients.
This is awesome. And I think there's so much that we can unpack from this, because especially of the realm of people think firstly that weight loss, fat loss is this just linear result. I start on day 0 and by day 100, I'm going to be able to lose this amount of weight. And it's never like that. Like, especially the way I know I operate, like I'm just like, it's just like these big chunks and drops that can happen. But it's also like, say for his instance, like he can gain some muscle some weeks, you know what I mean? He'll be able to feed himself. Maybe there's some water retention. Maybe there's some extra, who doesn't matter at the end of the day. And I think that's why it's such an empowering message to be able to say, don't just jump from freaking out, I'm overweight or I'm not losing the weight that I want to, and then going down the calculation route straight away. Like, yes, it does have its basis and it's a tool to be used, but especially with who needs to use it, this guy obviously does not need to go down that path, because it's not like we're getting into the realms of low body fat. So when it comes to actually helping this dude, other clients, other people to be able to obviously get themselves and wrap their heads around the nutrition part of this, what are the steps that you walk them through?
Nutrition wise?
Yeah.
Well, the first thing is, like, as I said, everything most of what you've been taught in the past, probably we need to get rid of. The oatmeal for breakfast, the bananas, I'm following this, I'm doing this. You know what? You may have been told that's what you should be eating, but at the end of the day, I mean, even things in the medical profession, the American Diabetic Association and Heart Association, they're all going back on what they said 5 years ago. Low fat diet, low this. No, that's all wrong now. They're saying, oh my gosh, well, we have to have healthy fats to have healthy cholesterol, for our cholesterol to lead to our healthy hormones, and healthy hormones leads to healthy hearts. So I try to talk to them, and most of them they think they're on the right nutrition plan. And I go, okay, well, this probably is not the right nutrition plan for you. Oh, and before that, we don't use diet. We don't use the word diet. I think it has a lot of negative connotations. We don't use it in my household either with my 7-year-old daughter, because nice. But it starts there. We don't use diet. We all have a diet. Let's go with food, meal guides, nutrition plans, and let's look at all of the things that we need to replace. And you kind of go on that initial consultation with the client, and you're like, whoa, okay, I can see why you're not feeling well. I can see why you're not getting the results that you would like.
Awesome. And when it comes to the training portion of this, just so we can really start nailing off these dominoes, I think a really awesome part, and we've chatted about this before, but it's kind of like people think they've just got to be annihilating themselves in the gym 7 days a week, walking out in a big sweaty mess every single time, and then still being perplexed as to why they're not reshaping the way that they want to reshape. What are your concepts and beliefs when it comes to movement and training?
Wow. That's a super complex, loaded question. But I came from the athletic football background where you literally worked out and squatted and benched and deadlifted until you were puking in the corner. And that was in, late teens, 20s, and it worked, but it was like you were immersed in this lifestyle. But once you get out of it and you're living like the normal life, you're not the college athletic star anymore. You're a professional, or you're a mom and a dad. You have to find workouts that you can get in. Like, it's not realistic to spend hours and hours in the gym. And I feel, after doing every freaking kind of workout possibly known to man, and always trying to search for bigger, better, faster, that the shorter workouts are the more effective ones as far as building muscle, burning fat, and just getting in and getting out and being able to live your life.
So it's such an amazing concept of, why don't we do things a little bit more effectively? It can be a little bit more intense. It can be shorter, and you can actually, hold up. You can live your life as well. Like, you don't have to be tied to the gym then, do you know what I mean? For hours upon hours.
Increased quality of life. I mean, I know it's kind of cool and kind of fun to go to the gym, but I want to get in and out so I can go eat and be with my family and live life and do what we got to do. So I have the mentality that the shorter, the quicker, the better, the more intense, overall better. And I don't go to the gym. None of my clients are more than 4 times a week. My workout programs are 3 times a week. And then I recommend them going out and doing something outside, going a walk, run their dog, go paddle boarding, go on a bike ride, things like that.
Okay, awesome. What do you think people are doing wrong? If there was a couple of things you're just like, I wish I could solve this, and I continue to hear this the whole time, what would those things be?
What are they doing wrong? As you're talking as far as working out?
Anything. Just, let's say, anything doing wrong to do with weight loss.
Well, the first thing we talked about with nutrition, the one main thing that I see that's wrong now is that people are not having enough fat in their diet. They have this this thought that more fat in my diet means I'm going to get fat, but it's completely wrong. And it's kind of been debunked over the past several years. And now it's like, okay, we need to add healthy fats to our diet. And everyone's like, well, wait a minute, what do you mean? And I'm like, trust me on this. And I try to change that switch going, this is why we need healthy fats. This reason, this reason, this reason. That's one of the main things. A lot of people think no carbs. You can't have carbs. If I'm burning fat, I need to cut out carbs. And I'm like, well, maybe for the first couple weeks, but thereafter we got to add it back somehow. They're like, whoa, really? And I'm like, yeah, we're not going to deprive ourselves. We're going to throw some carbs in, especially after our workouts, which is when we kind of crave them, I think, more than anything else. And then as far as workouts, I mean, you got to break the mentality that you need to be doing this, bodybuilding workout and spending, 2 hours a day, 4 or 5 times a week in the gym. You don't need to do that.
It's so true, because especially I always find there's a logical understanding of what people can have right now of say, okay, yes, I know, I can see the literature, I can see the studies, I can see the people talking about I need to include good quality fats, and even like the keto diet is such a popular thing that's coming about right now. Like that's like 80% of the calories that you're going to be eating is about fat. All right, cool. But there's still something lingering in the back of their heads that doesn't get them to pull the trigger as well. And it's the same thing with carbs. We look at it and we go, okay, we want to be able to be smarter with carbs. Maybe we do want to drop our carbs for the first couple of weeks, get you a little bit more insulin sensitive, drop some inflammation, but we want to start including carbohydrates and finding that sweet spot for what's best going to suit you. And they're always very delicate and kind of like, oh, am I sure I should do this? But it's not until they actually include the carbs and then see their body fat start dropping. But then I think the important part is seeing their sleep gets better. Maybe their digestion gets better. Maybe they're feeling better. They're not craving foods anymore. They're not like their energy's on the floor. It's like, hey, like you said before, your quality of life is so much higher. And why do we want to lose weight, burn fat, get in better shape? It all comes down to quality of life.
Always, yeah. I mean, adding carbs, I mean, and we talk about, the great word we use is hangry now. Like, you don't have to be hangry. I mean, I have not had any of my...
I'll admit, I got hangry yesterday, getting the tattoo done. It was like 4.5 hours or something, and I was like, I'm hangry, I'm out. Like, tap me out, let's go.
Yeah, but I think it's important. And then one of the things the coaching, the accountability part, I actually have, my clients WhatsApp me the pictures. Yeah. And then there are days where I'm like, you worked out today, and you just sent me this meal, but I don't, this is just a slab of meat and like some broccoli. Where are those carbs that we talked about? They're like, are you sure it's okay? I'm like, trust me. And then 2 weeks later, we do their weigh-ins and they've dropped, 3 or 4 pounds. And I'm like, I told you. And, and your girlfriend likes spending more time with you too, or your wife, or yeah. And I think it's especially being a dad too. Like, I mean, I have an issue with telling my daughter, like, no, we can't have sweet potatoes or brown rice, or we can't have, it's good. We can have it. It's good. Yeah. I can't tell a 7-year-old daughter that. She's not, I mean, she's going to grow up to be an adult saying, oh, my dad told me I can't have carbs. I'm like, no. So I'm trying to find the way we can incorporate all of that stuff and still be happy, still, lose fat, be strong, sleep good libido. I mean, all about libido too, man. So, I mean,
good.
It's all important.
It's an important part of the symptoms that we can look at as to what's going on. Do you know what I mean? Like, because if your digestion or your sleep or your libido's off, well, okay, something's wrong. What's going wrong? And we can start the path of finding what that is out. Now, you brought up the dad thing, and I think that's a really important topic that we can bring up, because this is something that we jam on a bit. Obviously, being a father of daughters as well, and I think we both feel really strongly about that. Our actions and our words are obviously affecting who these young women are going to be growing up into. And the whole diet thing and social media, and there's just so much crud that can be as a negative influence. How do you see what it is that, and I know this is a head snapping transition right now, but how do you see what it is that you want to be doing to be the best father for your daughter?
It goes back to identity. I wake up every morning, and I know this sounds a little crazy, but one of my big things in life is my success is not going to be only, judged or it's not going to come down to how many people I've helped. It's going to come down to how great of a child I've helped raise. And I want to give her the tools, happiness tools, food tools, nutrition tools, exercise and moving tools, and know that we need to incorporate all of these things. But the identity, every morning I wake up and I'm like, I'm a dad. I'm a hell of a dad. And I'm going to do my best to teach my daughter the best ways, being grateful for, what we have and the food we eat and the sunshine, and that we can help other people. And she's like, well, Daddy, I want to go I want to be a nurse. I want to be a doctor. I'm like, no, but you can do lots of other things. You can be the artist. You can be the photographer, But yeah, that's really big in our household. And we try to build a 6-pack of the brain. I ask her, if I were to bring her in here right now, I'd ask her, what's the strongest muscle in your body? And she would hands down say the brain. So we work on that, and the 6-pack of the brain.
I love it. I think it's just empowering, because at the end of the day, like you said something before, and I thought it was really cool, because no matter how many people we help in the world, no matter how many people we help lose weight, no matter how much money we earn, if we raise a shitty kid that just doesn't do good in the world, I see that as a failure upon myself. Do you know what I mean? Like that's not cool, and I don't like that. And I think it's our ultimate responsibility of being able to create people that just do so much better than what we do, and be able to live a healthy, fulfilling life. And especially, say, having 2 daughters, and I know you might feel the same with this as well, but it's like having women that stand up for themselves and are able to say yes, say no, and willing to follow the path that they want to lead. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I try to empower her. I mean, like, at the end of the day, Daddy's not going to be there all the time. There may be nights that you can't talk to Daddy on the phone, and one day she's going to be growing up and have to raise her own kids. I want her to have those tools. All starts with the mind, and we have to feed our mind, feed our bodies, be healthy, and then we've got to help other people. So
awesome. I love this. I think that was absolutely phenomenal. Tyler, you've done a brilliant job, brother, of being able to spit gold during this chat. Now, where does the listener go now to find out more about you and what you're doing?
All right. So we have a private Facebook group, Stoked Life Wellness. That's the name of my company, Stoked Life. The website, as you know, it's done, and we're getting ready to load that off to the world. Also on YouTube, you can go to Tyler Stanley and check out workout videos, talks about testosterone, growth hormone, naturally balancing all of that. And, social media, Instagram, Stoked Life Wellness. And we're getting out there and trying to do our best to help people.
Beautiful. I absolutely love it. So we're going to make sure that we link over to the show notes from all those. Now, Tyler, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you sharing so much wisdom. I think this has been a really empowering chat where there's been a lot of action points of how simple things can be. And that's exactly why I wanted to get you on here as well. And we've got a bit of dad talk in as well. So that's always fun and games.